Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and this week not only are we meeting the requests of you, the viewer, but we have been chosen as the first in the UK to review this bike. So roll the intro and let's get cracking.
Crack.
Not so loud please, I'm drinking tea. Yes, by now, of course, you must have guessed it. It is the long-awaited 2019 Euro 4 Hyosung Aquila GV125 S.
But wait! Is it a cruiser or is it a bobber? What is it?
Well, let's just call it a bruiser.
Yeah, okay.
It works.
Yeah. The Bruiser uses a liquid-cooled EFI 60-degree V-twin with 14 brake horsepower, which is very nearly full power for the 125.
Indeed. Now, and that is thanks to it being liquid-cooled over the typical air-cooled 125s that are around these days. Oh, it's got 3 valves per cylinder as well.
With this impressive-looking radiator up front here, the Bruiser uses a 5-speed gearbox and chunky right-way-up forks.
And it's got these twin shocks on the back here. On the front, the Bruiser uses a 120/80/16 Timsun tyre.
And on the rear, it has a 150/80/15 tyre, which are very impressive sizes for a 125.
Indeed. Now, Hyosung have always been very generous with their tyre sizes, and that brings me on to the tyres just a touch. Now, I'm not saying Timsun are bad tyres. In fact, they are one of the better brands to come out of China. But I would have thought for this bike, they would have gone with a more mainstream brand over these Chinese tyres. However, their performance will ring true when we take it out on the road.
Brake-wise, we have a combined braking system and a 280mm disc up front and a 260mm disc on the rear.
And I think these discs complement these really nicely designed wheels. They are lovely. Very nice finish and a lovely design. Much better than the typical standard spokes that you get on practically everything these days. Yeah, I like them.
With 2 colour options available, Schwartz Black and Storm Grey, this bike looks pretty mean and stands out from the crowd as a 125 bobber cruiser thingy.
Indeed it does, seeming to be, on paper, the most impressive V-twin cruisery type thing since the Honda Shadow.
Weight-wise, it does come in at a rather chunky 165 kilograms.
And measures up at just under 2.1 metres long.
and 762mm wide,
and just over 1 metre tall.
with a seat height of just 710mm.
So it's great for those challenged in the leg department.
As demonstrated here by Nick, who is 5'6", but with a very short inside leg. Look at that. Thank you. Right, let's start it up, take it out and ride it about.
And then we'll come back and tell you all about it.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Well, there you go. You've seen us ride it, and as promised, let's discuss it. Well, first off, it's a very comfortable ride, and it is very smooth on that nice V-twin. However, there is a slight negative to that. To me, it feels low in torque at that bottom end.
Yeah, if you try and pull away with any kind of gusto, it seems to just give that a little bog and then it picks up.
Yeah, it's got like a two-stage power band to it, if you will. It pulls away smoothly and gently, and then when you get to about sort of 40 miles an hour, it just keeps powering through till 65 and beyond, shall we say. I'm actually quite impressed with the top end of it, and it's really smooth. There's no rattles, it doesn't go zzz.
No, it's not buzzy at all.
No, you don't feel any vibration through any of the handles. It's a very comfortable position. You're just cruising. And it invites slow cruising speeds, to be honest.
It does.
You know, you don't need to be going fast. It's not a crotch rocket, it's not a fast bike. It's not a fast looking bike. It's just a nice, comfortable Sunday weekend on the way to work, countryside, town cruiser. Kind of does it all, really.
It's exactly that.
It is that.
The only thing maybe I would pick on is, I think, for me, the foot pegs could do with either being down or forwards.
Oh, really?
Just a little bit.
So if you're over 5'11", maybe it's a little bit too short for you.
Maybe. Or maybe if I could sit back a bit further, I don't know. Something.
Okay.
I'm so used to riding that Honda with the real far forward pegs.
Yeah?
But it was just a little awkward for me.
For me, it was fine, to be honest. I am just sort of that much shorter than Malcolm,
Yeah,
and it felt okay to me. I was quite happy with it. Of course, with the positives, there always come some negatives, and as you know, we like to be as honest as possible here on Motors for the Masses. Even though we're going to be selling this bike, we still want to give you an honest review to let you know what you're going to be getting. So, those downsides. You may have noticed as we came down through the brakes there's a little bit of a buzz from the brakes. I don't know what that is. You can't really feel it through the brakes, but there's a sound. What is that?
I think it's just where the pads are making contact with the disc. My bike does it. You just get this weird little
Shadow?
clicky noise. Yeah.
Okay.
On the front brake. It's exactly the same almost.
So it's not a major thing?
No.
Other than that, the other downside is that I do think it should have a little bit more torque in the bottom end, but I guess that's what you get from a V-twin, to be honest.
But you've got to remember that that's such a small piston bouncing up and down in there.
Two thereof.
Yeah. So, you know, it's one your 125, so you've got two tiny pistons.
I'm impressed with how it keeps the consistent power. You know, that's that is quite impressive. So
it just keeps pushing, doesn't it? It doesn't run out of wind or anything.
No, it doesn't get to 60 and go, oh, I'll give up now, like most 125s tend to do that are air cooled. Like, can't be bothered. It does keep going, so that is quite impressive. I'm way overly impressed by the build of it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a solid bike, and you certainly feel confident when you're taking corners. I mean, coming round there, I have to say, Tim Sun tyres, they're all right.
Yeah. On this particular bend, there's quite a lot of loose stuff, like dust and gravelly stuff from these fields and things. So I didn't have any issues at all.
No,
it didn't feel slippy.
The road goes like this.
Yeah.
With the ruts, you get buses come down here, you get trucks come down here, and it didn't have any qualms going round the corners. You know, even when you go over those bumps, it held it really nicely. Looks-wise, I think it is absolutely stunning and a vast improvement over the old Shadow-like model. It's minimalist and understated and solid-looking.
I agree. However, I'm really undecided about this monster of an exhaust.
Yeah, the old model was the same, but nothing that a Harley-esque exhaust wouldn't fix.
I agree.
Yeah, so thank you very bloody much, Euro 4 regulations.
Anyway, the seat is very comfortable and the riding position is absolutely spot on.
I really do like the number board on the side, although for me that would have to be number 22, of course. And I really do like this easy to read dashboard, apart from the cheese that is, get ready. I also like this bobber style small tank, and I do like this airbox on the side, although, again, being a bit OCD, I would prefer to have another one on here, even if it's a dummy one, just stuck on the side there with Grand Voyage written on it also. I'm also impressed by its size and the chunkiness of the front and rear tyre, and of course the V-twin engine. I really do like a V-twin engine. However, I'm also very impressed with the detail of this. Now, on a lot of these bikes that have the combined brake system, you find that these master cylinders and things are in the way and very showing and not very pretty at all. But they've hidden it really well behind this bracket. And the way the wiring and everything is connected and laid out, it's really impressive. You can see they've spent a lot of time and effort on making this look nice and look professional, and haven't just bolted something on the side and thought, that'll do, it works, who cares what it looks like. A lot of effort has gone into the aesthetics of this bike.
In the interest of having an honest review, I feel I'm going to throw in a couple of, not negatives, but suggestions. Number one being, these exhausts I feel would have really benefited from having a slightly chunkier like heat shield on there. For two reasons. One, it's a heat shield, that's a good thing, but it would have also brought the pipe slightly larger to sort of be in keeping with his massive tailpipe. Secondly, I agree with Mark about the airbox here, because there is, on this side of the engine, which we'll show in a minute, a horn and a coil pack, which would have been hidden really nicely under a matching panel like that. So just there. Just hide that and hide that. Would have been nice.
They could have incorporated the horn into the end of the box, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even need to be like sticky out, does it? It could have been just behind it. It would have been fine. These are, however, just little fiddly things that are just my opinion that could be made nicer with the cover, etc. Overall, I do like the bike. I like the overall look of it. I love this sculpted seat. It's a little firm for me, but it is very comfortable. I like this rear arch that hugs over the back tyre, and I like the tank as well. And just overall, it's tip-top. I like it a lot.
Indeed, and I'm so impressed with how well it's put together. It's a solid, solid bike.
Yeah, it is built very well.
It is. When you're riding it, I can't get over the power. It's not lightning quick off the mark, but what you do get is a consistent build of power and speed. And it's very smooth with that V-twin. And I also thought, because when this bike first came out, I thought they were going to go with a feet-forward plate or up here somewhere. And they haven't. They've gone for the almost inline foot pedal arrangement, not like they have on the Sinnis Hoodlum or the Keyway Superlight. Yeah. But I think they've made the right decision because it feels extremely comfortable. Your hands and your arms are in the right position, your feet are in a very comfortable position, and it just makes it easy to move around. It's so flickable on the corners. It certainly doesn't feel like 160 odd kilos when you're on it and when you're out on the road. And I'm totally impressed with what they've done with it, really am. This bike's been long awaited, but I really do think they've come up trumps. So all I can really say is well done Sinnis and well done Hyosung, to be honest.
So, how much is this bruiser?
Well, being liquid cooled, it is more expensive than the likes of the Sinnis Hoodlum, which is £2,300.
But that is a single cylinder, air cooled 11.2 brake horsepower engine.
Indeed, where this one is a 14 brake horsepower V-twin liquid cooled engine. So it comes to you at a price of £3,729 on the road. And I think that's actually very impressive for what you get.
And 2-year parts and labour warranty.
Indeed. So, nothing more to say about it, really.
No, job done.
If you want to find out more about this bike, please click in the description below where there'll be a link, and there'll also be a link for our shop that's in there as well, and our Facebook page and Instagram and all that following stuff that people like. So there you go, that brings us to the end of this episode. Next we will be back with more bikes and more reviews and the Bobber build and the Mac build and the reveal of our new paint job on the Trump, the Triumph Speed Triple. I've named it the Trump.
Excellent.
Yes. So, there you go. Please click the bell as well for notifications and stuff. And until next time, please ride and drive carefully.
But have fun.
Bye.
Bye-bye.